Hi, my name is Brian Ott. I'm here on behalf of the Drybulbous Farm Garden Committee. We're unable to have the festival this year, so we thought we'd make a virtual presentation of the various aspects of the Drybulbous Farm. The garden is a representation of a 19th century garden, and there's a couple of important things to know about a garden from back in that era. The first is that there was no ability to just go down to your local home improvement center to get a packet of seeds. Most of the seeds they had back in those days were what are called open pollinated seeds. So in other words, they allowed a certain amount of the plants from a growing season to go to seed, and they harvested those seeds for the next year's growing season. Another thing to keep in mind is that prior to 1900, there was no refrigeration. And so there was very little fresh produce that was available to a farm family other than that which they could grow themselves. These were no-nonsense gardens. They were kept close to the house for purposes of protection and also ease of maintenance. The final point I'd like to bring up is that gardens back in that day were by necessity organic gardens. There was no chemical pesticides to use. Of course, there was plenty of natural fertilizer available to a farmer, but there were no pesticides to control bugs. So pest control took a variety of forms. One was a very strict crop rotation, and the other was to intersperse various types of crops. So unlike gardens from our era, there were often not nice, neat rows of plants, but there were interspersed plants such as corn and melons within the same space. I'd like to highlight a couple of the varieties of heirloom vegetables that we're growing here at the farm. The first is pretzel beans. Now, beans were an important component of a garden from the 19th century because they could be used in two ways. While they were green, a pretzel bean, as I have in my hand, could be shelled and eaten in a manner similar to a pea. Or the second possibility is that they could be dried, and the dried bean could be used in the wintertime for soups and stews. These are referred to as pretzel beans for the obvious reason that they curl up in the form of a pretzel. I think of them more as curly fry beans, but I guess they didn't have those back in the day. Another plant that's pretty prolific within the garden we have here are the patapan squash. The patapan squash are a variety of squash that also used primarily in soups and stews. It's a pretty hard squash, so it takes some cooking before you're able to consume it. Because most of the seeds were open pollinated seeds, there was a tremendous variety of local and regional vegetables that were part of the 19th century garden. Many of these varieties have fallen off with the advent of national seed companies, but they still survive to this day as heirloom varieties, which are available and are grown here at the farm.
Well, thanks for listening to our segment from tonight. We appreciate the audience. We hope to have events that are open to the public and up and going by next summer. Keep your eye on the 4th Saturday of August. That's the date for the Farm Festival. The whole place comes alive with different reenactors and music and lectures and exhibits. We thank you for your support over the years, either financially or with your attendance. And also, anytime you have an idea you'd like to volunteer, we're open for that. Please stay connected. Keep following us through the Drybulbous Farm website, and we'd be glad to hear from you. Thank you.